Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video, and today I'll be showing you my game collection. Now before we start off, I have to say that my game collection is not very big and I do not have many highly favorite games. Also, before we start off, I'll be showing my games off by console that I have them on, and my least favorite games on that console to my favorite games on that console. Let's get to the games. Let's start with one of my favorite handheld systems to ever exist, the DS/3DS. Lots of these games have been my introduction to gaming as a whole, and I will always cherish and love them. Number 8, Ben 10 Alien Force. Growing up with this one was probably the one that I played the least. Shortly after I got it, it started to get boring because it was just not the sort of game that I was looking to play at the time, and I was just never really interested in it. 9.5 aliens out of 10. Number 7, The Sims 2 Pets. The reason this one is just so low on the leaderboard is because when I was a kid, and even now, I never really enjoyed games like this. Not to mention that, to my knowledge, it is nothing like a regular Sims game. In this game, all you do is keep yourself alive and doctor pets. Nothing more, nothing less. 3 stethoscopes out of 10. Number 6, SpiderMan 3. This is a fine game overall, and I enjoy it much more than I was when I was a little kid. But it really wasn't exciting to me as a little kid. However, I do have some great memories with this game, and that's why it's a little bit higher than the others. 4 radioactive bugs out of 10. Number 5, How to Train Your Dragon. There's not much that I can say about this game, except for that I would not let a kid play this, as it was a little bit hard to understand and play for me. 4 hiccups out of 10. Number 4, Pokémon Super Mystery Dungeon. This is the first Pokémon game on this list, as well as being the first 3DS game on this list. This one was probably my most recent pickup, and while it can distract you for a bit, it's nothing compared to the next games. 5 capitalized rats out of 10. Number 3, My Sims. This is the first game on the podium, and one of my favorite games to waste a couple of minutes on. It's very easy to leave this game and pick up whenever you want, and you do not feel committed to play every day. This game reminds me of something like Animal Crossing, which I've been playing quite often recently. 7 houses out of 10. Number 2, Nintendogs. If you've played this game or even heard of it, you know why it is so high up on this list. It's one of my favorite games of all times, and I've loved every second of it. 9 fluff balls out of 10. Number 1, Pokémon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Yes, I have both of these, and yes, I put them as the same game. Why, some may be asking? Well, they are 99.9% identical. Enough about that though. Why did I get this in the first place? Well, this game was the first video game I ever got for my birthday, and the first game I did not have to share. So I squeezed every last drop out of it. I've caught multiple shinies and resetted my games more times than I can count. Here's an idea of how many times I've reset and played through its entirety. Here on my activity log for 3DS, it says I have a combined total of roughly 374 hours. That is just about 15.5 days of straight Pokemon. This is probably the most amount of time I've ever spent playing one game. 10 shiny Mudkips out of 10. Now, moving on from my childhood era to more recent history, the Nintendo Switch. This is actually the most recent console I have at this moment. Number 12, Lego Harry Potter Collection. This is a fun game for a younger member of one's family. However, I'm not a younger member of my family, so it's a fine game to play with younger ones, but it's terribly simplistic. 1 fancy wand out of 10. Number 11, Lego City Undercover. As previously shown, I don't really enjoy the Lego branded games as they're painfully easy to play through, which is not a bad thing, but this type of it is just super boring. 1.5 police badges out of 10. Number 10, Just Dance 2021. I, for one, just do not really enjoy the Just Dance brand as a whole. This is because, while it's a fine game to come back to with friends, it's just the same game over and over again. However, to give it credit, it's a good party game. 2 dancers out of 10. Number 9, Pokémon Let's Go Pikachu. This is a fine Pokemon game. However, it just kind of feels like a cash grab to me as it was released right after Pokemon Go, and it just kind of seems like it's the console version of that game. This is actually the reason I bought it a few years back. It's a fine game. I would give it 3 motion controls out of 10. Number 8, Pokemon Shield. This absolutely is not a bad game. However, it came at a time where everything Pokemon was just being marketed so hard. It would be better if it was just released at a later date. 3.5 children out of 10. Number 7, Minecraft for Nintendo Switch. While everybody and their grandmas loved Minecraft, and it was one of the most popular games ever, the only problem I have with this one is that it's a horrendous port of Minecraft, and anyone who has played on a better console or even a cheap laptop, that's how bad it is, will know how terribly terrible of a port this was. 4 merchandise bombs out of 10. Number 6, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is a great Mario Kart game, but it's just way too similar to Mario Kart 7. Not to mention, it was released on Wii U, which is not to say that it was a bad game, as many other games have been also thrown from the Wii U to the Switch, such as Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. But this was just executed much worse. 5 mustached plumbers out of 10. Number 5, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. This is what I would say is one of the best 2D platforms out of all of the Switch's libraries. I used to play Donkey Kong on Wii, and it was just so magical to see this return bigger and even better than ever. 6 monkeys out of 10. Number 4, Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. I actually have no idea why this works so well, but it is just so fun to play, and it has such a nice long story that I haven't even finished yet. And it has DLC from Donkey Kong, which just seems so fitting to me. 7 child-friendly guns out of 10. Number 3, Nintendo Switch Sports. This is absolutely one of the best games on Nintendo Switch, and I would definitely get this game for you and your family. Absolutely get it if you have $60 to spare and a Nintendo Switch to play it on. 8 rackets out of 10. Number 2, Animal Crossing New Horizons. This is another absolute must-buy on Nintendo Switch, and it would be awesome to see more updates, and I do not think that I can understate what an amazing game this is. 9 houses out of 10. Number 1, Super Smash Bros. This is probably one of the best Nintendo Switch games to ever exist, let alone Nintendo games to exist. It's a multiplayer game that you can play with friends no matter what age they are, and whether they're family, friends, cousins, uncles, or even your weird grandma. I have played this game many hours, and it's the best game I've played on Switch, rivaled against The Legend of Zelda, Mario Odyssey, and much more. I would give this game 10 plumbers plus 10 other weird-looking plumbers out of 10. That's all for now, folks, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Like for part 2, including my Wii and my Xbox games. See ya! Number 1, Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha. Now, moving on from my childhood era to more recent history. Number 10, Just Dance 2021. I, for one, just do not really enjoy the Just Dance brand as a whole. This is because it's a fine game to come back to with friends, but it's just the same game over and over. Number 9, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu. This is a fine Pokemon game, however, it's just kind of never mind. Number 5, Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze. This is what I would say is one of the best 2D platforms in all of Switch's libraries. Number 5, Donkey Kong Number 2, Animal Crossing New